Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our inventory tutorial. So when we left off in part 1, we downloaded 2 actors, enemy bullets and the spinning coin. And I'm going to use these two as the bullets or projectiles of my characters. So I'm just going to use the monkey character to start. And I'm going to set him up to fire some bullets. So I'm going to change settings. I'm going to add an extra button to my game. Go under controls, and I'm going to add a space bar. So I click here to add a new control, click on key, and just hit the space bar. Okay, so we've added a new control. The name of this is space. Say okay to that. So we've added an extra button for our keyboard where we can that we can use. So now I'm going to go into events of our monkey, and I'm going to add an event here for when we do a keyboard input. So I'm going to choose the control. When the spacebar is pressed, we are going to create an actor. So I'm going to do a search here, actually. Create. And we want to create an actor in our game. Okay, I'm just going to drag that in. What actor are we going to create? So choose the actor type. We're going to create our enemy bullet. And we're going to create that. And this is just a bit of a repeat, actually, of one of my previous tutorials. So we're going to create it at the current X and Y position of this character, of ourself. All right, this is the monkey. So I'm just going to center that on this character, center X and center Y. So we're going to create an enemy bullet in our monkey, and we're also going to fire it as well. So let's go to motion. Set X speed for the last created actor, because when we create our bullet, then the last created actor will be our bullet, and we're going to set that to a speed of 100. Okay, let's test this out. Okay, let's click on the monkey, and I'm going to hit the spacebar. We've got some bullets firing. That looks good. Okay, inventory is still working. Great. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is we're going to now add the two different bullets, the coin and the enemy bullet, into these two grids. Now, you might be thinking that we're just going to drag these bullets on here. We're not actually going to do that. We're actually going to re-download these two items one more time, but we're going to use them as buttons. So this will take a little bit of explanation a bit later on, but just trust me on this. So I'm going to download the enemy bullet one more time. And a little dialog pops up, says, do you really want to replace it? And we actually don't want to replace it. We want to rename this. And it gets hidden behind here. So I'm going to call this button enemy bullet. Rename that. Okay, I'm also going to go back and download the coin one more time. And we're going to have the same problem, which we're going to rename this. So I'm going to call this button, BTN, spinning coin. Let's rename that. Okay, now let's close down some of these things. And we're going to go into our inventory. And this time we're going to get make sure you look down here carefully for the button enemy. That's what we're going to put in one of these. And we're also going to get this button spinning coin. Right, so once we've got both of these, we want to make these buttons clickable. So when we click on here, we want to have the behavior set up. Let's set that up right now. So I'm going back to my dashboard and button enemy bullet. Now, we actually need to set up a game attribute so that we can distinguish, help the game distinguish which, it needs to remember which bullet it's on. So I'm going to create a new game attribute called current bullet. And text, I'm going to give it a default value. And we're going to have the enemy bullet as the default. So create a new game attribute called current bullet. The default attribute is the enemy bullet. And we're going to do a when drawing event here. Oh, actually, we don't need to do that here. We need to do that in our inventory. Right, so we're going to create an event here. What I want to do is create a little border around here so we know which button we've selected. And we're going to be adding some extra code to switch between the two. So events, we're going to have a when drawing event. We're going to have an if. We can actually use two ifs here. And this might be a bit easier for you guys to understand. There are different ways of creating the logic here. We're going to go to game attribute, and we're going to get the current bullet value 2 times. So if this is the enemy bullet, or if it is the spinning coin. So it's going to have one of two values, enemy bullet or spinning coin. And to add that on here, actually, let's do this right now. So button enemy bullet, input on actor. When we press on ourself, we're going to set the game attribute, the current bullet, to this is enemy bullet, and we're going to go to the spinning coin button. Where's my spinning coin button? Button spinning coin over here. Okay, we're going to add the same event, so it's going to be the same as this. Right, so add event, input on actor. When we press on the mouse on ourself, we're going to also set the game attribute, setters, set the current bullet to spinning coin. Okay, so when we click on either of these buttons, it's going to set the game attribute value or the variable to either enemy bullet or spinning coin. Okay, now this may begin to make sense as that game attribute or variable changes values, we're going to draw a border around different things. So I'm going to go to drawing, and we're going to draw a round rectangle. We're going to draw 2 round rectangles. So it's going to be a round rectangle here or here. I'm going to go over to styles, and we're going to set stroke colors and thickness. Okay, thickness is going to be 5 for both. And let's just put, it doesn't really matter. Let's put a red border around here. Okay, so choose a color, just select one of the red colors. Okay, now we just select a, let's check in our scene how big this thing is. So check down here in your X and Y grid, and this looks like about 126 to 171, so about 40 units. Okay, let's get into that. Sorry, I can go back to events. So about 40 units wide, 40 units high, 40 and 40, arc of 5, arc of 5. And X and Y coordinates is going to be the top left-hand corner of each of these grids. So 129, 168, 129, 168, and in the other one, 123, 167, 123, 167. We'll see the results of this in our next tutorial. I will be continuing on this again in part 3. See you guys next time.